Hello everyone, hello my friends, how are you? I hope you're fine. Welcome again to my channel, Learning English with Malak. In this video, we will learn the difference between two tenses, the present simple tense and the present continuous tense or the present progressive tense. After we start, don't forget to subscribe and like and share with your friends. So now, let's begin our new lesson. We will start by a small definition of the present simple and the present continuous. The present simple and the present continuous are two different tenses in English, each used to express different aspects of time and action. Here is a breakdown of their differences. So now we'll move at the differences between the present simple and the present continuous. The difference between them is the usage. So, the present simple is used for habitual actions. Something you do it every week, every month, every year, etc. Something habitual. Or general truths. Something a truth and can be never changed. And permanent situations. Permanent situations like habitual actions. But the present continuous is used for actions happening at or around the moment of speaking. For example, you are speaking and you are doing something else and you want to express what are you doing. So you use the present continuous to express it. Good? And temporary actions or actions in progress. I told you that I can name present continuous or present progressive, and we can name the actions by actions in progress. Clear? Now we'll move at the clue words. Clue words are some words that if I found it in a phrase, I know that this verb is conjugating in the present simple or this verb is conjugating to the present continuous. The clue words of the present simple are always, sometimes, usually, often, hardly ever, every week, every month, every year, and never. You say all adverbs of frequency are clue words of the present simple. And the present continuous, their clue words are now, right now, at this moment, at present, currently. And there is many other clue words of the present continuous. Good now? Take with you a notebook and a pen for write all this information that I give you today. Now we'll move at the positive form, negative form, and question form in the present continuous, then the present simple. For the positive in the present continuous, I must have subject and I must have verb to be. These two parts of the phrase are the important thing, the main thing. Subject, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. And verb to be, is, are. Then you choose any verb however you like, then ing. For example, I am reading a book. I am reading a book. I, it's a subject. It's a verb to be. Read, it's a verb in the base form. Then ing. A book is an object. You can add anything. A newspaper, a book, a story, etc. Second example is you are playing football. The same thing. You, it's a subject. Are, it's a verb to be. Play, it's a verb in the base form. Ing, this ing. Football, it's an object. So there is any differences. If there is I, you, we, he, she, it, I write the subject, then verb to be, then a verb however I like, then ing. And the third example is he is doing his homework. He is doing his homework. He, subject, is, verb to be, do, it's a verb in the base form, then ing. Clear? Now I'll move at the negative form in the present continuous tense. If I want to make a phrase in the negative form, I must have subject and the verb to be. I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. And not is the important thing in the negative form. Verb in the base form: read, play, do, eat, stay, stand, and ing. For example, I am not reading a book. I am not reading a book. I subject, verb to be, and not is the important thing in the negative form. Don't forget it. Read is the verb in the base form, ing, and the book it's an object. The second example is you are not playing football. You subject, are verb to be, not play is a verb in the base form, then ing. I can say you are not playing football or you aren't playing football in the short form. And last example is he is not doing his homework. He is a subject, is a verb to be, and not is the important thing I told you at the third time. Do is a verb in the base form, then ing. And I can say also he isn't doing his homework in the short form. Now we'll move at the last form in the present continuous tense is the question form or the interrogative form. If I want to make a phrase in the question form or in the interrogative form, I must have subjects and verb to be. But this time, I invert them. I start by the verb to be, then the subject. Okay? Then a verb in the base form, then ing. And don't forget also the question mark. Okay? For example, am I reading a book? Am I reading a book? It's rarely that we ask ourselves and we have a verb. For example, am I reading? Am I eating? It's rarely. We can say, am I invisible? Adjective, probably, but a verb, it's rarely that we use it. Just example. Am I reading a book? It's a verb to be. I, it's a subject. Read, it's a verb in the base form. Then ing. And don't forget the question mark. The second example is, are you playing football? Are you playing football? The same thing. Are is a verb to be, you is a subject, play is a verb in the base form, then ing. And last example is he doing his homework? Is he doing his homework? Is a verb to be, he is a subject, do is a verb in the base form, then ing. Clear now? Now we'll move at the positive form in the present simple tense. If I want to make a phrase in the positive form in the present simple tense, I must have subjects, he, she, it, and verb in the base form. Then I add s or es to the verb for being in the present simple. Clear? I told you that I must have he and she and it because I, you, we, you, they. There is any change. I don't add anything and I do anything to the verb. Okay? I eat, I read, you play, we stand, we write, etc. But with he and she and it, I add to the base form verb s or es. And if you want to learn how I can add s or es to the verb, when and how and etc., all these questions are already answered in a video specifically on the present simple, and there are other videos that are specifically in the present continuous. You can watch it after we watch this video. Clear? Now we'll move at the examples. The first example is I read a book. I read a book. How we see here, there is any change to the verb because I have the subject I. So if I have these subjects I, you, we, you, they, I don't add anything to the verb. But if there is he and she and it, I add s or es to the verb in the base form. Clear? I read a book, you play football. And the last example is he does his homework. Why we didn't say he do his homework? Why? Because we have the subject he. This is what there is some change to the verb in the base form. Now we'll move with the negative form in the present simple tense. If I want to make a phrase, I must have subject and do and does. Do and does are important. Do and does. If there is I, you, we, you, they, I write do. And if there is he, she, it, I write does. Clear now? Then I add not for have a negative form. I don't. He doesn't. Clear. Then I add a verb in the base form. Don't add s or es. No, it's wrong. Don't add it because I already conjugate the verb in the beginning of the phrase. I do not. So do or does are conjugating to the present simple. Listen to me carefully. If you have a negative form in the present simple, write your subject however you like. If you write he, she, it, write does, then not, then a verb. Any verb. Okay. But don't add to the verb s or es. Don't add it. Why? Because we are already conjugate the verb do and does in the present simple, in the beginning of the phrase. Clear? Let's do some examples. I don't read a book, or I do not read a book. So how we see here, I have the subject I. If I have I, you, we, you, they, I write do. If there is he, she, it, I write does. I don't read a book. Second example is you don't play football. You don't play football. And last example is he doesn't do his homework. He doesn't do his homework. Does. I write does because I have a subject he. And how we see here, I don't add anything to the verb in the base form because I already conjugate do, the verb do, in the present simple tense. Now I'll move at the last form in the present simple is the question or the interrogative form. I must have subject and do or does. The same thing that the negative, but the same is a little bit changed. I must have a subject, then do or does. When to use do and when we use does, I use do if there is subject I, you, we, you, they. And I use does if there is subjects he, she, it. Clear. Then a verb in the base form. Then an object, however you like. Then a question mark. Don't forget it. Also, it's important in the question form. For example, do I read a book? Do I read a book? So don't forget do or does. And don't conjugate the verb in the base form. Don't conjugate. I mean, don't add anything. Don't add s and don't add es to the verb. Why? Because we are already conjugate the verb do in the present simple of the beginning of the phrase. Do I read a book? Do I read a book? Clear. Second example is, does she play football? Does she play football or soccer? Does she play football? So I write does because I have the subject she. Be careful. If there is he and she and it, I write does. And if there is I, you, we, you, they, I write do. And last example is, does he do his homework? Does he do his homework? How we see here, I didn't conjugate the second verb do. I didn't conjugate it because I already conjugate the first do in the beginning of the phrase. And at the third time, I told you that don't forget in the question form or the interrogative form, a question mark. Thank you for watching. I hope to understand this video so well. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, like these videos, and share it with your friends. And don't forget also a small comment to encourage me, to support me to do other new videos. Goodbye my friends, my sweeties. Goodbye. See you next time in next video.